The camera was rolling. People were laughing. It was just another sunny day, till the ground cracked open beneath their feet, or a massive wave appeared on the horizon. What happens when nature strikes without warning, and the whole thing is caught on film? These aren't just stories. These are moments where the Earth reminded us who's really in charge. Get ready to witness chaos, destruction, and human resilience, all captured in real time. No CGI, no special effects, just real people facing the unimaginable. Let us dive into the top 10 most terrifying natural disasters ever caught on camera, starting with two events that still haunt everyone who watches the footage. Number 10, the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, one of the deadliest natural disasters in modern history, and one of the most hauntingly documented. On the morning of December 26, 2004, a massive 9.1 magnitude earthquake struck beneath the Indian Ocean near Sumatra. What followed wasn't just a wave. It was a monstrous wall of water racing toward unsuspecting coasts. Thousands of tourists and locals had their cameras out that morning. Some were filming family moments on the beach. Others were capturing the strangely receding shoreline, completely unaware it was the first ominous sign of a tsunami. In one of the most famous videos from Phuket, Thailand, a tourist films the sea pulling back far into the horizon. Children run toward the exposed ocean floor, collecting shells. Then, in the distance, a dark, rising line. It grows. It roars. By the time people realize what's coming, it's too late. Screams erupt. The camera captures frantic running, crashing waves swallowing palm trees, shops, entire streets. Another haunting video, taken in Sri Lanka, shows the moment the Queen of the Sea passenger train is hit by the tsunami. The footage is brief, but the stillness before the wave and the sheer force of the impact are unforgettable. That train alone carried over 1,500 passengers. Nearly all perished. What makes these videos so gut-wrenching is the normalcy before the terror, the laughter, the calm, the innocence. Then, within minutes, entire cities are reduced to rubble. These aren't Hollywood disaster films. These are real moments of fear, confusion, and irreversible loss, immortalized by handheld cameras and camcorders. Number 9, the 2011 Joplin tornado, May 22, 2011. An EF5 tornado, the most powerful on the enhanced Fujita scale, barrels through Joplin, Missouri, leaving a trail of utter devastation. What sets this tornado apart, besides the $2.8 billion in damages and 158 lives lost, is the fact that it was documented in real time from the inside. Multiple videos surfaced in the aftermath, but none more chilling than the footage filmed by a man seeking shelter inside a gas station with a group of strangers. The video starts calmly, the man pointing his camera toward the sky as ominous clouds swirl. Then sirens. They all rush into a cooler at the back of the store. What follows is raw, unfiltered chaos. The video goes dark as the tornado hits. You hear wind, not just blowing but screaming. You hear the roof begin to peel away. Shelves collapse. Glass shatters. People scream, cry, pray. You hear a woman begging for it to stop. You hear a man yelling over the wind, "Hold on. Don't let go then."
Silence.
Dust. Breathing. A beam of light filters through the collapsed structure. And someone, maybe the man behind the camera, whispers, "We're alive. We're still alive." That moment, that voice became a symbol of survival. It's one thing to see tornado aftermath photos. It's another to hear it happening, to feel the fear in someone's voice, to imagine what it's like when the very walls around you are ripped away. Later aerial footage revealed a city almost wiped clean. Schools, hospitals, neighborhoods, gone. And yet those voices survived. Thanks to that footage, millions around the world not only saw the power of the tornado, but also the power of community, of hope, of human instinct to hold on, even when everything is collapsing around you. Number 8. Mount St. Helens eruption. It started with rumbling, then small quakes, then steam rising from the snow-capped peak. Locals in Washington state had heard the warnings, but nothing prepared them, or the world, for what happened on May 18, 1980. At 8:32 a.m., Mount St. Helens exploded in a colossal lateral blast, not upward, but sideways, flattening everything within 230 square miles in mere seconds, and somehow was caught on film. One of the most iconic videos was captured by a man named Keith Ronholm, who had set up a camera across Spirit Lake to film the mountain's activity. What he recorded is almost unbelievable. A serene view of the peak one moment, then a sudden explosion as an entire side of the mountain rips away. A gray and black pyroclastic cloud bursts outward like a bomb, racing across the forest faster than a commercial jetliner. The ash cloud reached 15 miles into the sky, blanketing cities as far as Montana. Roads vanished, rivers clogged, trees snapped like matchsticks. But the scariest part? The raw footage that survived? In one scene, you can hear a researcher's frantic radio transmission before his signal cuts out. Another clip shows day turning to night as ash blots out the sun. 57 people died that day, including photographers and scientists who were documenting the volcano up close. Their footage, recovered from cameras found in the debris, tells a story more chilling than any fiction. It's not just of the eruption itself, but of humanity's daring to get close to nature's edge and paying the ultimate price. Number 7, the 2018 Indonesia earthquake and tsunami. If you've never seen an entire city swallowed in minutes, brace yourself. On September 28, 2018, a powerful 7.5 magnitude earthquake struck near the city of Palu in Sulawesi, Indonesia. It was already a disaster. Buildings cracked, bridges swayed, power lines fell. But then came something even worse. The earthquake triggered a massive underwater landslide, creating a tsunami that raced toward the shore at terrifying speed, and dozens of people caught it all on their phones. One viral video shows a crowd gathered at a beachfront concert. Music is blaring, lights flashing, then suddenly screams. The stage lights flicker. People point out to sea. A dark line on the water is growing larger by the second. Within moments, a wall of water crashes through the crowd, sweeping away instruments, structures, and people. The camera cuts to black. Another video shot from a hotel balcony shows the wave hitting the harbor, tossing cars like toys, submerging buildings, and then retreating with horrifying force, dragging everything with it. But the worst came after. Parts of Palu suffered a rare geological phenomenon called soil liquefaction, where the ground literally turned into liquid mud.
Ow.
Entire neighborhoods were swallowed. One video captures a cluster of houses sliding across what looks like pudding. Houses intact, roofs still standing, but they're moving like boats. The footage seems surreal, but it's real. Over 4,300 people died. Thousands more disappeared, buried in the earth. And yet, thanks to the footage, many of it shot by terrified residents who risked everything to document what was happening. The world got a brutal front row seat to one of the most terrifying disasters of the 21st century. What makes it unforgettable isn't just the scale of destruction, it's how fast it happened. One minute people were enjoying a concert. The next, they were fighting for their lives against forces no one could stop. We often think technology gives us control. Warnings, satellites, detection systems. But these moments prove otherwise. Sometimes, the camera is the only witness, and it captures not just disaster, but disbelief, confusion, helplessness, and the split-second decisions that mean the difference between life and death. The next disasters on this list are even more jaw-dropping. From earthquakes that shook entire nations to wildfires that looked like hell on Earth. Number 6. The 2019 Australia bushfires. You've probably seen wildfires before, but nothing prepared the world for the hellish footage that came out of Australia during the 2019-2020 fire season, now known as the Black Summer, sparked by a perfect storm of record heat. Drought and lightning strikes. Over 46 million acres were scorched across Australia. The fires raged for months. But what stunned the world wasn't just the scale. It was what people saw and heard through their cameras. One haunting clip was filmed by a volunteer firefighter driving through a flaming forest. The camera, mounted on the dashboard, records flames leaping across the road, trees exploding like firecrackers, and a thick, red haze that makes it look like the truck is driving straight into the apocalypse. You hear his breath get heavier. You see embers pelting the windshield. His voice cracks as he says, "We might not make it out." In another clip, a family in New South Wales huddles in their backyard pool. Yes, in the water as flames roar around them. The sky is black. Birds fall from the air. You hear a child ask, "Is the fire going to eat us?" But it wasn't just rural areas. In suburbs, security cams captured backyards catching fire in seconds. People had to flee in flip-flops. Roads melted. Cars exploded. In coastal towns, entire communities evacuated to the beach, surrounded by fire on all sides, waving flashlights to be spotted by rescue boats. By the time the last ember cooled, 33 people were dead. Nearly 3 billion animals were estimated to have been affected. The air quality in Sydney became the worst in the world. And the footage, terrifying, tragic, and very, very real, shocked the global conscience.
Ow!
When nature burns with no mercy, cameras don't just show flames. They show fear, heartbreak, and the unbearable decision to leave everything behind. Number 5. The 1995 Kobe earthquake. At 5:46 a.m., on January 17, 1995, while most of the city of Kobe was still asleep, the earth shook with the force of a 6.9 magnitude earthquake. It lasted only 20 seconds, but it felt like the end of the world. Many security and news cameras captured what followed. But one clip still sends chills. A downtown security camera records a quiet street. Then, in an instant, the ground lurches violently. Power lines whip, storefronts collapse, a bus tips over, sparks fly. And then nothing but smoke and dust. Another camera inside a convenience store shows shelves buckling like waves. Products fly. The entire ceiling collapses. One worker dives under the counter a second before the lights go out. Kobe was not ready. Over 6,400 people died. Over 100,000 buildings were destroyed. Elevated highways twisted and fell. Fires broke out everywhere, often unchecked due to broken water mains. But perhaps the most devastating footage came from survivors. Camcorder videos showing neighborhoods reduced to rubble, with residents digging for loved ones using bare hands. One man's voice trembles as he films his collapsed home, calling out to his mother through tears. This was the first major earthquake in an industrialized city to be recorded on such a scale. Japan, a country famous for preparedness, was blindsided. And the footage, played repeatedly on global news, changed how nations thought about seismic risks in urban areas. It also revealed something deeper, that even in a technologically advanced society, nature can rip through steel and concrete like it's paper. The camera didn't just show destruction, it showed vulnerability, humanity shaken to its core. Every clip in this list reminds us, nature doesn't wait for us to be ready. And when it hits fast and hard. But when those moments are caught on film, they become more than disasters. They become collective memories, lessons, warnings. In the next part, we all confront two of the most haunting events ever broadcast live, including one that sent a nuclear warning across the planet. Number 4. The 1986 Chernobyl disaster. It wasn't a tsunami or an earthquake. It wasn't loud. It didn't throw cars or flood cities. But it was, and still is, one of the most terrifying disasters ever recorded, because its true horror was invisible. On April 26, 1986, at 1:23 a.m., Reactor 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded during a failed safety test. What followed was indeed just a meltdown. It was a radioactive nightmare that would poison the land, the air, and generations to come. You might wonder, how could a nuclear accident be caught on camera? Here's the chilling part. It was security footage from the control room shows workers before and during the experiment. One by one, alarms start flashing. Monitors spike. There's confusion, and then static. Power goes out. Later footage filmed by emergency response crews and KGB operatives shows firefighters arriving at the site, completely unaware of the invisible death surrounding them. One man films the glowing graphite from the reactor lying on the ground. He doesn't know that just being near it for 30 seconds could be lethal. Pripyat, the nearby city, slept peacefully while a radioactive cloud drifted silently through the night. Amateur home videos the next morning show children playing under a blue sky, parents smiling. Meanwhile, Geiger counters are going off the charts. When evacuation finally came, 36 hours later, residents were told to pack for 3 days. Most never returned. Years later, haunting footage emerged from the cleanup efforts. Soldiers and liquidators in makeshift protective gear ran across the reactor roof, pushing debris off the edge. Each sprint lasted just seconds. Any longer, and they'd die from exposure. These videos were kept secret for decades. Chernobyl didn't have the dramatic visuals of fire or waves, but what makes it terrifying is exactly that: the silence, the delay, the betrayal of a system that hid the truth. The footage, raw, shaky, restricted for years, is a chilling window into a disaster that's still affecting lives today. Number 3. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. March 11, 2011, at 2:46 p.m. A magnitude 9.0 earthquake, one of the strongest ever recorded, struck off Japan's northeast coast. But it was what came next that shocked the world and filled the internet with some of the most harrowing disaster footage ever captured. The earthquake alone caused skyscrapers in Tokyo to sway like trees. Office workers filmed lights swinging, ceilings falling, people screaming under desks. But the real nightmare began about 40 minutes later when a tsunami surged toward the coast of Tohoku. The world saw it live. Helicopter broadcasts captured the moment the wave hit farmland. A massive black surge swallowed entire villages like ink spreading on paper. Cars sped down roads with the wave chasing behind. Some didn't make it. One viral clip, filmed from a rooftop in the city of Kesanuma, shows a quiet harbor. Then, a wall of water creeps in, slowly at first, then faster, unstoppable. Boats crash into buildings. Houses explode. Fires break out atop the flood. You can hear people crying behind the camera, completely overwhelmed. In another gut-wrenching video, a man on the second floor of a home films the street turning into a river. Then he realizes the water's coming for him. He screams for his family to go upstairs as cars float by the window. But the disaster didn't end there. The tsunami crippled the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant, leading to a meltdown. For days, no one knew how bad it was. Helicopter crews dropped water from the air. Workers later called the Fukushima 50, risked their lives to prevent total nuclear catastrophe, and cameras captured every tense moment. Over 20,000 people died or went missing. Entire towns were wiped off the map. But because of modern technology, smartphones, drones, news cameras, the world saw it all unfold in near real time. The shock, the confusion, the raw human desperation. No one watching those videos could forget them. And Japan, once praised for its disaster preparedness, was humbled by the sheer force of nature. These recordings didn't just document destruction. They became tools for learning, for warning, for honoring those who didn't survive. Sometimes it's not the size of the wave or the height of the flame. It's the moment of realization. When people go from living their normal lives to fighting for them in seconds, that moment, that shift, is what these cameras capture. The instant when the ordinary becomes the unimaginable. And now, it's time for the final part. Two disasters so intense, their footage still haunts millions. Number 2. The 2018 Camp Fire. November 8, 2018. A spark ignited by faulty electrical equipment lit a small flame in the dry hills of Northern California. Within hours, it became the deadliest and most destructive wildfire in California history. Its name, the Camp Fire, and its terrifying path of destruction, minute by minute, was recorded by panicked residents trying to escape. The fire raced into the town of Paradise at 80 football fields per minute. Wind-whipped flames leapt across highways. Gas stations exploded. People had minutes, sometimes seconds, to run, and the dashcam footage. It's beyond disturbing. One viral clip shows a father driving his car through total darkness at 10 a.m. The sky is pitch black. Ash rains like snow. On both sides of the road, homes are ablaze. Trees glow red hot. The only sound is his daughter in the back seat crying, "Are we going to die, Daddy?" He calmly responds, "No, baby." Another video from a police officer as body cam captures him evacuating a hospital in the chaos. Alarms blare. Elderly patients are wheeled out in beds. One woman begs, "Please don't leave me." The officer promises he won't. Then you hear the wind howl, and the sky goes red. In another heart-stopping recording, a man's GoPro captures him on foot, stuck in gridlocked traffic. The road is engulfed. He abandons his car and runs into a backyard pool, diving underwater to escape the heat. Survives. Barely. When the flames were finally extinguished, 85 people were dead. Over 18,000 buildings were gone. Paradise was no longer a town. It was a memory. But the videos remained. These weren't cinematic. They were shaky, desperate, full of smoke and sobs. But that's what made them powerful. They weren't just about fire. They were about decisions. Stay or flee. Help or run. Speak calmly to your child while driving through literal hell, or panic and lose it all. The campfire showed us that survival isn't just about luck. Sometimes it's just about courage in the most terrifying moment of your life, and a camera that happened to be rolling. 1. The 2008 Sichuan earthquake. May 12, 2008, at exactly 2:28 p.m. A 7.9 magnitude earthquake struck China's Sichuan province. Entire mountains shook. Cities crumbled. Over 87,000 people were killed or declared missing, and it was all caught. Not by one camera, but hundreds. The earthquake struck during school hours. In several classrooms, security footage captured the floor jolting violently. Students screamed, desks flipped, ceilings collapsed. One camera shows children diving under desks as bricks begin falling, and the screen goes black. Elsewhere, office workers filmed buildings swaying, glass windows cracked and shattered. You hear someone shout, "Get down," as elevators crash inside a hotel. But the most harrowing footage came in the hours after. In the city of Biquan, a teenage boy live-streamed the scene around him. Mountains had collapsed into the valley. His school was gone. He called out for friends. His phone shook as aftershocks rattled the ruins. He kept filming. Rescue crews, both military and civilian, filmed as they clawed through rubble by hand. One clip shows a mother trapped beneath a collapsed home, whispering through a gap, "Save my child first." The child is pulled out alive. Moments later, the mother's voice fades. Another video shows a teacher using her body to shield 3 students. She dies. They live. Even more haunting was what came days later. Landslides triggered by the quake. Entire roads vanished. Rivers changed course. Cameras mounted on helicopters show entire villages wiped off the map. Unlike many countries, China allowed much of the citizen footage to spread, and it changed how the world saw earthquakes, not as news stories, but as intimate, deeply human tragedies. The videos from Sichuan show us the moment a normal day becomes history. A test in math class, a walk through a plaza, business call. Then shaking, screaming, chaos. The line between safety and destruction was razor thin. And in every video, we see people trying to hold on, to help, to document, to remember. When disaster strikes, there are no second takes, no retakes, no scripts. But sometimes, there's a camera. And in those moments, the lens becomes more than a recorder. It becomes a witness. A silent observer of courage, chaos, heartbreak, and hope. These 10 terrifying natural disasters weren't just catastrophic. They were seen. Because they were seen, they were remembered. They taught us something. To never underestimate the power of nature. To cherish every calm moment. To prepare, to listen, to care. Because sometimes all we have is the seconds before the storm. If this video made you feel something, fear, awe, admiration, then share it. Let others see what the world has endured and what humanity has survived. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a story like this. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one.